So some very shocking news came out recently about Funimation and Crunchyroll doing a team up to expand access to anime, doing a partnership to be releasing a lot more anime. And pretty much a nutshell of what's going to be happening here is that Crunchyroll and Funimation said they're teamed up, is that what they're going to be doing is kind of combining the two services together, mainly the Funimation Now stuff, and also as well they're going to be using Funimation to help distribute all their stuff, the titles that they have for home video releases and all that, whilst they'll have subtitle versions as well together. And currently the plans that they have all that for these dubs and all that is Ace Attorney, Outrun of the Skies, Bungo Stray Dogs, Joker Game, Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress, Relife, and some more to be announced in the future. Meanwhile, with also as well on Crunchyroll, they are also going to be getting a bunch of Funimation titles that were only available on there, and now they're actually going to be on Crunchyroll. You can see them subtitled. They had such things as Cowboy Bebop's going to be on there, Puzzles and Dragons, D.Gray Manhalo, which is one I'm really goddamn excited for, First Love Monster, Grimgar Fantasy and Ash, Psychopaths, and there is going to be a lot more coming into the service. So it's kind of the clever thing what they're doing is what they're kind of doing is, okay, if you want your subtitle stuff, go to Crunchyroll. That's where we're pretty much going to be handling it. And if you want all your dub stuff, which that's where they're going to be moving all that, I believe so far and all that, what they said as well is that kind of every other dub thing is going to be moved over to Funimation Now, which I believe that what they were saying, and is there any titles that are going to be disappearing and all that? No subtitle stuff and all that, but I believe they are moving free over there, Testament of Sisters and maybe a couple other stuff and all that, but they will also be having a lot of dubs and all that from this season. Also, it kind of helps a lot in the long run. I feel like this is more of that at that stage, just for a lot more for Crunchyroll, and also as well just in consumers in general, because this was the biggest problem when recommending people streaming services in the first place, because both of the services had advantages to each other. It was well, what do I go with? Do I go with Crunchyroll, where I'm able to have a ton of stuff from both manga and anime, or do I go with Funimation, who have broadcast dubs and all that are able to bring them out, and also as well has some exclusive titles now. I kind of like that it's now getting rid of the exclusivity of all these kind of titles. I'm kind of happy with that. That's what kind of one of their focuses on. Biggest question though is, since they announced some of these titles on there, is this in any way going to be brought, is Funimation going to be working on them with some of this other stuff? If you remember a while ago, Crunchyroll did this news saying that they were getting into the Blu-ray and DVD business, and there was a couple of titles that have been omitted from what they've announced on there. What they announced thoroughly that was coming to Blu-ray and DVD was Kabaneri, which we know that's getting a dub already, which is awesome. Berserk wasn't mentioned, which was weird and all that, so I'm wondering if they are going to have Berserk on there and sometime soon. I think it probably is a very popular series and all that. Twin Star Exorcist, Free, we already know that's kind of already done, that's being pushed over to Funimation. Gintama, I really want to know if they actually are going to try and get their hands on that, if they're going to try and dub it or anything of that. Big Order, Yamada and the Seven Witches, and also as well Myriad, Color's Phantom World, and they still had a lot more going on to this, so I'm wondering how this is exactly going to be working with those two studios. It does, however, though, feel like they are monopolizing a little bit at the moment, because I do feel bad in the way where it's well, there are other streaming services that aren't as popular as that, and even they have good services, and just to say, just because Crunchyroll's the most mainstream thing out there doesn't mean they have exactly everything, or might have some of the services. Some of the actual quality they have on certain few videos aren't exactly as high as quality as you think it'd be, for some of their shows, where you can get better than other places and all that, which is such a if you're have a huge fixation on that, then that'll kind of be a nitpick for you guys to have and all that. But to me personally, at least now, I can happily recommend people for a lot of people and all that, saying, hey guys and all that, if you really want to go sub one, the most stuff that you are pretty much going to get is kind of Crunchyroll side. But if you do really want dub, which a lot of people will not watch shows unless they have any dubs or any type and all that, then it'll be okay, here you go, here's the Funimation one. And I've always been kind of very supportive on Crunchyroll on the part and all that. I've always liked using the service and all that. It's how I mainly watch and read a good majority of the manga and anime that I watch. Like, it gets me into a lot of stuff to watch if I can just marathon it or play, go straight in, and that is fantastic. I just, like, there are some questions that I want to know and all that. Is saying, like, I know they're going to be announcing future titles, but does that mean, you know, some of this stuff that they, like, Crunchyroll already announced that was coming to Blu-ray and DVD, does that also mean that, you know, Funimation is going to be working on the other titles that they've already previously announced? Also, some other Monopoly things getting a little bit questionable about that, but that's, you know, honestly, like, to, like, how people, like, you know, personally think about that, like, not really too much and all that, like, gonna get in the way, like, I feel like, to people's enjoyments of the services, but I kind of like now that it's, like, they are pretty much what they're trying to do is, like, they're kind of, like, capitalize on the market where it's, like, you want dub, go here, you want subbed, go here, you know, like, it's pretty much what they're trying to do with their strategy is, you know, best of both worlds. It's like, okay, you're going to give us some of the titles and all that, we're not going to be a little, like, stingy with that, and that was always a problem when it was definitely coming season where it was like, who do I go with? Do I want Funimation because they got these shows that I really, really want and all that, or do I go and stick and all that right here to Crunchyroll where I do have a huge selection and all that, but sometimes they can't get some of the shows I really, really want and all that. So I'm looking forward to that, and just hopefully and all that, I am curious about dates, times, or, like, you know, what they're going to be doing with it. Like, with some of these shows, are they only going to be sub only? Are they all going to be dubs and all that? Curious to see and all that, like what they're going to have in the future and all that, definitely. But this, I think this is a very, like, smart business move. I can definitely see it for the two of them and all that. But, like, we're going to have to wait and see in the future what exactly is going to be happening in mind. Me, personally, and all that, like, we've got stuff like D.Gray out there. We've got, like, a huge bunch of content. I hope that Crunchyroll then gets some of the older episodes, so like, a lot of other people can actually watch that stuff alongside with Funimation as well. I hope some of those stuff come out there. But that's all from me. That's all I can really talk about this news. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you think about this big, like, team up between Funimation and Crunchyroll, and also as well bringing out some of these titles. Also as well with some of the stuff new stuff that they're coming out and all that, and some of the new season stuff. What do you think? What do you guys want them to release over here and all that? Are you really interested in, like, a certain new show that's already out at the moment, or also as well, what do you kind of think about them kind of monopolizing the anime business a little bit like that? Like, you know, kind of very interesting, or like what people's takes on this. But that's all for me. Thank you much for watching as always, and I will see you guys though next time.